Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Guns and Yellow Ribbons podcast. Flying on my own again tonight. Everyone else has let me down, so we'll see how we go. I'm going to talk about this weekend's fixtures. Obviously, I'm going to talk about the Arsenal game at Southampton. I'm going to mention our ladies in a Champions League final this weekend. I'm going to talk about injuries, and we are going to have to mention what happened this week in the Europa League final, I'm afraid. Talk to you.
Welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. This is your Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Enjoy the show.
Evening all, and welcome to the Guns and Yellow Ribbons preview podcast. I did a show on my own a few weeks ago, and I thought I got through it all right. So we're gonna have another bash tonight. We're gonna have another bash at doing it all on our own tonight. I can see the comments coming in already, but we're flying solo. I'll try and get as many comments up on the screen as I can. I'll try and mention them, but I'm just going to concentrate on trying to talk to you guys about our wonderful, wonderful football club, the Arsenal. Yeah, I see Trevor's commented. Evening, Trevor. Evening, Anne. Evening, Arnie. Nice to see you here watching. Thank you very much. Don't forget, if you keep the comments coming in for me, it's going to give me something to feed off, and hopefully I won't run dry of words. Evening, Demsek. Nice to have you along, mate. Right. Now, listen, I've got to get something out of the way to start with, right? Before we talk about anything else, right? I've got to talk about this week's Europa League final, right? As much as we don't want to take any notice of it, it's worth just having a quick chat about it and giving you my views. Firstly, on the Europa League final, and more importantly, the consequences of that Europa League final for match-going fans. Right? You've got to forgive that lot up the road. They're going to give us some grief. You know that it's very rarely they get a chance to give us a bit of stick, and they're going to milk this for all it's worth. Right? So. It's by the by. It's the only ammunition they have to fire at us. So, we're just going to have to swallow it. It shouldn't be that hard to do, because I'll tell you what's not hard to do for me is because I really wasn't bothered about the Europa League. I really genuinely wasn't bothered about who won it. Obviously, I didn't want that lot up the road to win it, but they did. So, but I'm still not overly bothered, right? At the end of the day, right, it's a competition that the great Arsenal Football Club were too good to enter. And you can't get jealous about people winning things that you were too good to enter, because you'd be jealous every day, you know what I mean? So, yeah, so on that note, just thinking about it and expanding on that and looking at the bigger picture, what worries me greatly, right, is that football has adopted this money. They just want to make money out of us, in everywhere they possibly can, right? Next season, my season ticket at the Arsenal is going up. I think it's 6%. I'm not sure exactly. And I'm going to travel all over Europe to watch my team play in Europe, right? I'm going to travel all over Europe to watch my team play in what's called the Champions League, right? So when I'm watching the Champions League, I'm going to expect to watch top football, right? Top football. I know it can't just be the champions anymore. The competition wouldn't be big enough, right? The competition wouldn't be big enough. So it has to be the top 1, 2, 3, or even 4, right? I understand that. But what UEFA have done with this Europa League is mean that I could be spending £100 to go and watch a game of football next year, to watch the team that finished 16th or 17th in the Premier League, and quite possibly teams from other countries that are the same. So I'm paying top quality money, right, to watch probably relegation fodder football teams. And that just don't seem fair to me. That really doesn't seem fair. And I hope that UEFA recognise what they've done by not dropping Champions League teams into the Europa League, weaken that competition. I mean, one team got to the final, and they played Bodo in a semi, and Man United in a final, right? That's not difficult to do. We got knocked out in the semi-final, but we came up against Real Madrid and PSG. There is no comparison. There is no comparison, and I hope UEFA will look at that and think, yeah, we've made a mistake there, and they change it and say that Europa League teams are not necessarily going to qualify for the Champions League. So I'm going to leave it there about the Europa League. They've won it. We're going to get it in the year. It's a competition that we couldn't enter, so I'm really not too bothered. Really not too bothered. And, I wouldn't swap what we had this year for what they had, Anyway, moving on from that, right? Just going to preview a few games now. Then I've got something else we can talk about. Then we'll come back, and at the end, we'll preview the great Arsenal game. And I really do want us to do well this Sunday, right? I thought about this long and hard just to lead into it. I don't want to see Ramsdale suffer, right? Because, I think Raz a better goalkeeper, but nonetheless, Ramsdale did us no harm. And Ramsdale kick-started where we are now, for me. But I still want to see the Arsenal put 4, 5, 6 past him. I want to go out on a high. I still got Paris niggling in the back of my head, because we were so close. I've got Paris niggling in the back of my head. So I want to go to Southampton and really score a lot of goals and beat them comfortably. But we'll talk about that a bit more in a bit, yeah? So the first game I want to look at, right, is Aston Villa v Man United, right? Now, I see a few in the comments here. I'll try and get a few of them up. Well, I can't. I've lost it now. I just seen one here. It's just throwing me off guard. I do like the new format better for the Champions League. Do you know what? I wasn't keen on it when it first came in, right? But I think it's grown on me throughout the league system, and I enjoyed it at the end. I really enjoyed it. A lot of the last games in the league meant something. There was lots to play for, and I enjoyed it. So I'm with you there. I like the new Champions League format as well. But going back to Villa v Man United, right now, Man United, I didn't watch it like a lot of people are saying in the comments. I didn't watch it, but I've been told it was an awful game of football. It was a game of football between Tottenham and Man United that would have probably graced the National League. Now I can't be sure. This is what I'm hearing. But thinking about that, Man United are going to Aston Villa this week. I would think that Man United are going to get hammered at Villa. They're not going to bounce back from that beating. I don't think they're capable of bouncing back. And I've got Villa down to beat Man United easily. 2-0, possibly more. So, I don't know what you people out there think. Put it in the comments. As I say, I'm not going to get them all up on the screen, but what I will do, I can see them ticking by, and I'll comment on them. Yeah, I'll bring them up and comment on them. So the next one then is Bournemouth-Leicester. I like Bournemouth this season, apart from when they hammered us at their place and Saliba was subjected to one of the worst sendings off I've ever seen. But we've covered that and we won't talk about that anymore. There's only so many times you can wind yourself up thinking about things like that, especially when you get to my age. I can feel the ticker starting to race now, and I've only just mentioned it, you know what I mean? So, Bournemouth v Leicester, I've got Bournemouth to beat Leicester comfortably, yet I've got Bournemouth to beat Leicester comfortably. I see people have got Villa to beat United comfortably, and I agree with that, absolutely agree with that. And I also think Bournemouth will beat Leicester. I've got 3-1, could be more, who knows, Then the next one I've got down here, I hope I've got all the home and away teams in the right places, because my good mate Fergus, who's not here tonight because he's out in the West End with his wife Jackie, celebrating a special occasion. So have a lovely evening, Fergus and Jackie. That's why he's not here tonight. But he sends me this list of teams, and sometimes he gets the homes and aways the wrong way around. And I always check them, but I haven't tonight. So anything could happen. Yeah, everybody's going for the cherries. Look, Bournemouth to win, Cherries to win. Oh, Trevor Bibbins. Leicester to win 2-1. You stand alone there, Trev, mate. You stand alone, mate. But who knows, eh? I don't think that one's good. Don't put your money on that one, I don't think, Trev. But having said that, who knows? It's football at the end of the day, isn't it? Football at the end of the day. Where are we up to now? Right. Then we've got Brighton v Tottenham, right? Brighton v Tottenham. I'm just going to check here, right? Because just in case Fergus has stitched me up here, right? I'm going to check as I go along now. It's Sunday, right? Where are we? Premier League. Has he stitched me up? Yeah, he has, because he's put down here Brighton are home to Tottenham. Well, they're not. Tottenham are actually at home to Brighton. But I don't think that will make the slightest bit of difference to the score. I think Brighton will beat Tottenham comfortably. I think Tottenham will be coming down from the first trophy in years, probably still be choking from the dust they've let out when they've opened their trophy cabinet for the first time in years. And I think that Brighton will beat Tottenham quite comfortably. I really do. I really do. 5-0 to the Seagulls. God, Gooner. That'd be a nice way to finish the season, wouldn't it? And do you know what, right? While I'm at it, I think I said it the other night. Right? Tottenham and Man United have been very, very lucky this season, right? In that we've been in the unusual position of having three teams that are clearly the three worst teams in the league, and they've been set aside at the bottom of the league, right? So, yeah, Tottenham and Man United are in 16th and 17th, and they're safe. Most other seasons, you get one or two that are set adrift at the bottom, but you always get a fight for that third relegation place, don't you? And Tottenham and Man United want to think themselves extremely lucky that hasn't been the case this season. Otherwise, they'd have found themselves in a lot of trouble, I think, in an awful lot of trouble. Something tells me Tottenham are going to let this little win they've had in this second-rate cup this week cloud their judgment going into next season. And it could come back to bite them firmly on the backside. I hope it does. I genuinely, really hope it does, right? So let's have a look at the next one down here, right? We've got Chelsea v Forest, right? And he's got them all the way wrong way around. He's put Chelsea v Forest, and it's not in the Forest at home with Chelsea. Forest at home with Chelsea. I'm liking the Forest owner. I don't know if you've seen it out there tonight. It's made the news tonight that the Forest owner has banned Gary Neville from the City Ground. I find it absolutely hilarious because Gary Neville, let's face it, he hasn't given a damn what he said, has he, this season? You know what I mean? He hasn't given a damn what he said this season. He just goes along and goes on his journalistic way or his opinionated way, and he's not challenged. Well, finally, someone's challenged back at him. He's been banned from the City Ground. I find it highly hilarious. And well done to that Nottingham Forest owner, who I'm finding to be, I mean, I don't know a lot about him, but from what I'm reading, I'm finding him to be a refreshing breath of fresh air in the Premier League. So I think that Chelsea and Forest will likely draw, but I wouldn't mind seeing a Forest win. I really wouldn't, you know. So the next one, right? We've got where are we here? Chelsea v Forest. We've done that. We'll do one more, right? Palace v Liverpool. Palace v Liverpool on Sunday. Oh, I've gone in the wrong app here now. Palace v Liverpool on Sunday. Well, yeah, Liverpool are at home. But are they going to lose another game? They've looked not very good, have they? I mean, Brighton came back and beat them nicely the other night. Palace are going to be on a massive high from winning that FA Cup. And they're looking really good, aren't they? To be honest, we're talking about transfers. And I wouldn't mind seeing that Eze and is it the striker Mateta? I wouldn't mind seeing either of them in the squad at the Arsenal. I think they're both very, very decent players. I've got Palace to win at Liverpool. I have. Most people are, well, a draw seems to be popular. Yeah, Ruth, they are already on the beach sunbathing, I reckon. It's about a 50-50 split here. Some have gone for Liverpool. Some have gone for Palace. I'm on the Palace side, I am. I think Palace will win at Liverpool. And we'll only be 6 points behind them with one game to play. I don't know. So I'm going to leave it there for a minute because Fergus has thrown me right off cue there. Couple of things that have come up today that are really none of my business, but seeing as I'm on my own and I can talk about what I want and it's all my opinions and my views. I read today that Man United are going to lay off another 200 or 250 frontline workers, the working class, the people that sweep the corridors and wash the windows, I think I've got this bee in my bonnet about it. I have. I'm no left winger. I'm no union man. I don't really have a political persuasion. I just get my opinion and that's it. But Man United, I've heard they're going to lay off a load more people. And it just grates in the back of my mind that the reason they're laying off is because the team's crap. A team that's got players on £1, £2, £3, £400,000 a week is the reason these people are losing their jobs that they desperately need probably to pay their mortgages. Don't sit right with me. It don't sit right with me, and it's sad that it's happening. And I think that owners and chairmen need to take a little bit more of a look at themselves when they do these things, because I'm sure that in a footballing world where we don't talk in millions or tens of millions anymore, we talk about hundreds of millions. I'm sure that there's other ways that money could be saved. Who knows? I don't know anything about it. As I said, just my opinion, and it don't sit very comfortable with me. And talking about money, right? The Arsenal season ticket, my Arsenal season ticket is going up next season by 6%, as I said just now, and for the extra few million that's gonna make, the club's gonna have it in their pockets. They're gonna notice it, but it's like a pebble in the ocean when it comes to the bigger picture of the finances at a football club, right? And what Arsenal said to me this week and said to Wolf fans this week was that if we want to continue to invest and we want to continue to challenge, we have to maximise all of our income, And I just don't like the way that Arsenal Football Club dress that up. I really don't, because they don't need our money. They could get by without a few million that putting our season tickets up is going to get them. They could easily get by. And I'm no financial analyst. Got there. I'm no financial analyst. You know what I mean? I'm no mathematical genius. But when you're talking about the few million that putting the season tickets up is going to raise in a bigger picture, it's a pebble in the ocean. I wish they hadn't done it this year because we haven't won anything. We've challenged. And I know by having more money, they can say, yeah, that'll make us better. But not for the little bit of raises. I'm not having that. I'm not having it. I really not. Yeah, so lingering on the Arsenal, right? Well, look, Trevor Bibbins has put it here, right? They are milking the fan base. But I don't mind them milking me in some ways. The official accounts for last season show a loss 55 million, yeah. So by the time they put my little bit in there from us fans, it's probably going to be 50 million instead of 55. Looking at the bigger picture and the amount of money players are on, I just don't think it's right. I really don't think it's right, But continuing on the Arsenal and continuing about the summer, right? I just want to mention quickly about the injuries. We've had so many injuries this season, right? And now we've got Timber and Saliba out for a few weeks, they say. To be honest with you, and it'll be interesting to see what people think here. To be honest with you, I wouldn't mind if after Sunday, every player in our squad got a little injury that was going to keep them out for a few weeks, just a few weeks, just so they can put their feet up, get round a pool, have a rest, not think about football at all, you know what I mean? And come back fighting fit, because there's no doubt in that they play too much football. And the Arsenal squad this season, with our injuries, some of the players have been absolutely hammered into the ground. They've been hammered into the ground. They must be absolutely shattered because if with the injuries, you can't rotate. He couldn't rotate this season as he wanted to, as we've seen, you know, and some players really have. And I'll pick out one or two, right? Bukayo Saka, he had his long injury and he's come back and he's had to play straight away in nearly every game, right? And I don't think that Saka was anywhere near back to his best yet. Yeah, he's a performer. Yeah, he's worth his place in the team. He's one of the best players in the world. But I honestly think that he's still a bit tired or feeling a bit about that injury. And he's just getting through to the end of the season, you know. And what's happening now, as soon as the season ends, there's an England squad been announced. Saka's in that, you know. Not getting Rice is in that. Both the poor lads have been playing and playing and playing, or injured and then playing and playing. They need a rest. They need a rest. And that's something else that the football world should look at, but it won't look at because it's all about the few quid in the bank, isn't it? You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm a bit worried about that, but I you know, I wouldn't mind if they all missed a few weeks now and got better. And then, of course, transfer rumours have started, right? The transfer rumours have started. Well, they've been about for a while now, don't they? You know, Odegaard doesn't look like he's back to full strength. Havertz has come straight back, you know. So it is what it is. I know it's injuries and that's it, you know, but the bigger impact, I'm sure, has affected us this season. Absolutely affected us this season. Yeah, so coming to this transfer window, I don't really watch any other teams play football. So I hear a few names mentioned, you know. And I don't really know them, to be honest. I've seen this Gyökeres bloke, whatever his name is. They're going to laugh at me, the lads now, from Lisbon, purely because we played them, you know. But all the others, I'm not really sure about. But I honestly think we need another, whatever we get rid of, we need another 4 on top of what we've had this season, right? Because it's clear to see that we didn't have enough in the squad this season. I thought we did at the start of the season. I thought we were looking really, really good. I thought we were well covered in each position, you know. But as has proven to be the case, injuries, they came heavy and hard at us, didn't they? It just seemed like we got one fit and another 2 dropped, you know. So, yeah, it looks like we'll be losing Jorginho and Tierney. 2 fine men in my view. So maybe we need to find 6, or maybe we need to hope that the youth comes through. I really feel that we need to have a bigger squad than we had this season just gone, just to sum it all up. And I mentioned Tierney and Jorginho there. I think Jorginho has been one of the few signings that's come from Chelsea that's actually not let us down. He really wore his heart on his sleeve when he came on for us and he put in his appearances. You know, he maybe wasn't quite up to the level we wanted, but he never let us down, Jorginho. And I wouldn't have minded him staying for another season in that role of covering when we had injuries. And as for Timber, you know, seems strange that since they said Timber's going, he's probably had the longest run. Tierney, sorry. Since they've said Tierney's going, he's probably had the longest run without an injury he has since the day he joined us. But, you know, we've got to remember, I think, that that Tierney was one of the first players that come in that really made us look differently at our football team, you know. There's no doubting, you know, we know we've said it enough times that we were weak, we were bullied, we were a small team, you know, we got pushed around the park and played off the pitch. Man's the away game I went to where on the way there I'm thinking, oh my God, I hope we don't get beaten too many. You know, that really was my mindset at the back end of the Wenger reign. It really, really was. And Tierney changed all that. Tierney changed all that because Tierney came into the squad, and whereas we were used to watching players training with tights on and gloves on in the summer and woolly hats, you know, Tierney turned up with his shorts and his t-shirt and his Tesco bag, didn't he? Completely different outlook, right? Completely different outlook on the game. And he was such I don't know if this is how people saw him, but he refreshed me. He made me smile again, and he made me know that we had a player in the squad that was going to go and run his nuts out every week. It's such a shame that he's had so many injuries, Tierney. And if it's true that he is going, which I'm pretty sure it is, I wish Tierney and Jorginho nothing but the very, very best. Two people that have served us greatly in different ways, but they've not let us down. And they've not moaned about not being in the team. I've not heard Tierney moan once about coming on for his little 5-minute cameos. So good luck to them both. Really, really good luck to them both, right? So just before we move on and review a few more games, right? Obviously with the Arsenal last, right? Very important game tomorrow night in Lisbon for the Arsenal ladies. Now, I think everybody knows that I don't see a lot of the ladies. I watch them on the TV when they're on the TV. I don't go to the games mainly because I just can't do all that travelling, yeah? But it's a really important game tomorrow. This new manager has come in and turned them around this season from what I've seen. I wish I'd have tried to get Albert or someone that really watches the women's game religiously to come on tonight and have a chat about this, because it's the biggest game in the calendar for women's football, and I think everybody knows, even if they don't watch much ladies or women's football, wherever you want to put it, everyone knows that Barcelona are an absolutely magnificent side and will be favourites to beat the Arsenal, really be favourites. But looking at some of the recent performances in the semi-final and the quarter-final in the Champions League and some other games, on their day, I think the Arsenal can beat anyone. I really do. And I hope that tomorrow night in that wonderful city of Lisbon, and it really is a wonderful city, that the Arsenal ladies do the business and bring the cup home, bring the Champions League home, and put a smile on all of our faces. And I hope all the Arsenal fans that and I know there's lots that have gone to Lisbon, are enjoying that fantastic city. We've been lucky enough, the men, to play there. I think it's in each of the last 3 seasons. So we've been to Lisbon regularly, and it never disappoints, Lisbon. It's a beautiful city, lots to see, lots to do, some of the best food I've ever eaten. So I hope they all enjoy tonight, enjoy tomorrow, and then we watch our girls win tomorrow night by about 4 or 5-0. Well, actually, I'd take 1-0 in the last minute, to be honest with you. So let's just go back, right, to the last couple of games, right? We've got Newcastle v Everton. He's actually written all these teams down, the away teams as the home teams, Fergus. He'll say it's because he's dyslexic. I say it's because he's stupid, but never mind, Fergus. I still have a great evening. So we've got Newcastle at home to Everton, right? Now, for Everton, it's not really much of a game, is it? You know what I mean? It's they're comfortable in the league now. They can't go down. They can't go up. So will they go to Newcastle in the best frame of mind? Well, do you know what? Something's telling me they will. Newcastle could do with the win, couldn't they? To cement their European place. So they'll be all out to win it. But yeah, Demsek here. Newcastle have to win. Yep. Arnie thinks it'll be 2-2. And I honestly think that Everton will get a draw at Newcastle tomorrow. I really do. Everyone knows I've got a soft spot for Everton. I like the blue side of Liverpool. Always get on well when we go there. I'm really pleased that they're not in relegation fight this season, and we're all going to their new stadium next season. Danny's gone and ruined my night by backing Newcastle. Danny, sorry, son, but I hope you're wrong. I really hope you're wrong. Trev, and I hope you're wrong as well, Trev. I really do. I want to see Everton get something out of this game. I'm not keen on the Barcodes anyway from what they've done to us this season. So come on, Everton. Get at least a draw tomorrow and finish on a high. And my good mate Will here, who's one of my travelling buddies in Europe, Everton all the way. Yeah, you'll do for me, Will. You'll do for me, mate, right? So the next one now, right? Where are we? Fulham v Manchester City. Fulham at home to Manchester City. I'm not sure. Have City have City safely got European football now, or do they need a result? I'm not sure. I've not looked, to be honest. I did look, but I can't remember everything. Be interesting if someone can put in the comments if City needs to win at Fulham, because I think they've got a game on their hands. I do. Yeah, Arnie, I'm with you. I fancy Fulham. I've not got Fulham to win. I've got them actually to draw at home with City, but I think that they've got City got their work cut out of Fulham tomorrow. Fulham have been playing quite well, haven't they? You know, so City need 1 more point. So actually, although I've got it down as a draw, Fulham v Man City, being savage, I'm with Danny. 1-0 to Fulham. Come on, Fulham. Let's see City struggle tomorrow. Oh, both the Manchester clubs out of Europe. That'll make my day. That would really, really make my day. Yeah, Trevor. So let's see City in the Conference League or the Europa League. You know what I mean? And then they can cheer about nothing next season. Well, to be honest with you, next season, once the guilty verdict is read out at some time in the next 25 years, City will be relegated 4 years. I'll be going watching Boston United next season or the season after play Manchester City, because they'll get a few relegation City, and we'll see Ireland plodding around in the mud baths in the National League. So yeah, come on Fulham. Yeah, cross Jonky, I'm with you all the way, son. Come on Fulham. So the last one now, right? The last one. I'm just going to check him again. Just going to check Fergus again here. Where are we? Right, Ipswich home to West Ham, right? Ipswich home to West Ham. I have got the raging ump with Ipswich, right? The raging ump. For the few of you that don't know why, I had a massive soft spot for Ipswich up until this season, when one of their players, whose name I can't remember and I wouldn't want to remember, it's like not important, absolutely flattened and almost snapped Bukayo Saka in half, right? Almost snapped Bukayo Saka in half. It was an awful tackle, and he was rightly straight readied off the field. No, you know, it was unarguable red card. And then for the rest of the game, rather than just get on with watching the game, the Ipswich fans decided to boo Bukayo Saka every time he got within 6 foot of the ball. So the poor lad's nearly been chopped in half, and now their fans want to boo him because he's got chopped in half. So I lost all respect for him. And now I hope they get beaten every week, and I'm glad they're going down. And I hope they get 3 or 4 relegations in a row, and they end up playing in the National League against Man City, and they're both down there. I really do. So I've got West Ham to beat Ipswich 3-1. I hope it's 7-1. But I've got, and I also put West Ham to win because, you know, Fergus's second team. Fergus got a soft spot for him. So, yeah, come on, West Ham, and beat Ipswich, please. So that's about all then done. That just leaves our game. But before we move on to our game, I just want to, good friend of mine on another podcast, just want to mention it. Harry Simiu, Chronicles of a Gooner podcast. Yeah. An excellent podcast. He does it on his own 99% of the time, you know, and I don't know how he does it because I'm feeling under extreme pressure tonight. You know, I keep looking at the clock thinking, oh my God, we're 33 minutes in. I've got to find a bit more yet. I want to go to at least 50 minutes, you know, so I've got to find a bit more yet to talk about. But Harry does it. He's as smooth as you like, Harry. And the reason I'm mentioning it tonight is because when we was out in Paris for the semi-final, as people know, I got treated to a very posh hospitality section by a good friend of mine who wishes to remain nameless, and I respect that. He knows I'm forever grateful. But yeah, we were in the hospitality section at Paris, and it was free beer and free food, and yeah, some stars were in there. And who walks in? Alex Brooker, right? Alex Brooker. And he sat with us before the game. We had a chat for about 10 or 15 minutes before the game. And what a lovely bloke. What a lovely bloke. And then when we get in, we're right at the front in the hospitality seats. And Alex is sitting behind us. So we're talking a bit during the game. And then after the game, Alex tapped us on the shoulder and says, lads, we're going for a couple of beers. Are you coming? And we went back in and had a few more free beers in his company. Wonderful man. And Harry's had Alex on his podcast today, Alex Brook, and I've watched it. I've watched Alex and Harry talking on the Chronicles of a Gooner this afternoon. And there's a lot of podcasts that I like. There's a lot of podcasts that I'm not overly keen on. But Harry's podcast is very good. And if you get a chance, listening to Harry talking to Alex Brooker is well worth a listen. If you're stuck for something to listen to over the next week or so, tune in and have a listen. Great conversation. And it was nice to see Alex Brooker on the screen. It's nice when you can relate to stuff like that, isn't it? So, the only other thing here is that before we talk about the Arsenal game, is there's been some rumours about Nwaneri today. And who's to know if they're true or if they're false? I've got it in my head that it's a bit of lazy journalism. Someone looking for a story started a rumor, and then people can jump on it. Then, but yeah. So I don't tell people what to do. You know that I always say on this podcast, I'm here to give opinions. I'm not here to give instructions. But I would suggest that we ignore that Nwaneri rumours about him not signing a new contract. I'm sure it's all in hand, and if it's not, then we'll find out soon enough, but there's no need worrying about it now. There really, really isn't any need to worry about it now, I wouldn't think. So, then we're going on, right? By the way, it's just ticked over 334 people watching the bald-headed fat man waffle away on here, right? I'm very grateful for that. I can't believe that you're all watching. I hope I'm not boring you too much. I'm trying to keep it interesting. And yeah, thanks again for watching. I'm sure that if Fergus was on here with me, we'd have a few less, but that's by the by. Yeah, he's not listening, by the way, so I can say what I want tonight. So Southampton open to Arsenal on Sunday. I'm going to drive down early Sunday morning, and I'm going to stay over Sunday night. I'm not driving down there and coming back. So if anybody's about down there and fancy a beer after the game, give us a shout. I'm down there with not a lot to do after the game. So yeah, be good to see some people if you're about down there. I've gone for Arsenal to beat Southampton 4-0. And as I said a little while ago, I love Aaron Ramsdale. And I'm thinking to myself earlier today, it'd be great if we had like 150 shots on target and he saves them all, and then he just lets one in and we win 1-0. You know what I mean? But then I thought, sorry, Aaron. Sorry, son. I want to finish this season with a massive, massive bang, I want to see us score loads. And it's not been the best hunting ground for us either, has it, Southampton? It really hasn't been the best hunting ground for us. So hopefully we can turn that around. And finally, hopefully, put out of my head this bloody niggling thing in the back of my head about Paris. Because, I know it should be gone by now. I know I should have forgotten about Paris and PSG beating us. But I haven't. And I think I haven't because I know that we were that close to them, Yeah, we were on another day. Donnarumma doesn't make those saves because Donnarumma's not consistently that good. I know he's had good games in the earlier rounds of the competition, but I've had a look back at Donnarumma's efforts, and I think we got a bit unlucky that he played like that against us, especially in that first 20 minutes at PSG, because I think if we score 1 or 2 against PSG early in the game, then they fold. I've no doubt they fold. It's still in my head. It shouldn't be, but it's still grating on my mind. So anyway, sorry, Aaron. I need to put that to bed. I need us to score 4, 5, 6, 7 and give them a right hammering. As for the team, well, Timber's out, Saliba's out. So you're thinking, okay, what about the back four? I don't know if people want to put Yeah, Jarhead, you're right. We don't play well at St Mary's. We don't play well at St Mary's. Let's hope we put it to bed on Sunday, mate. Eh? But I don't know if people want to put in the chat, but the back four for me is like White, Kivior, Calafiori, and Lewis Skelly. I think that's what we've got. I thought that Calafiori done really well in the middle. I hope that the injuries Calafiori has had this season, it's just an off season, because I think we've got a proper footballer there. I love the way he prances around the pitch like he owns the place. He's tall and he's quick, and I love that in a player, especially a defender. And he's got the habit of scoring the odd goal or two as well, which is always handy, isn't it? So I think Calafiori will play, or maybe Kieran Tierney might get a start in his last ever game for the Arsenal. But who knows? I think we're all right in defence, and then the rest of the team, I reckon, picks itself, doesn't it? We're going to have Rice and Partey. Partey's been the subject of a lot of discussion, hasn't he, over the last 2 or 3 years, if we're honest, right? And I'm careful what I say, because I don't want to upset anybody, because I can see everybody's opinions, right? But for me, and this is what I'm on here for, to give my opinion, is that until someone says to me that bloke's been caught and guilty, then surely, he's innocent until proven, And I know that upsets some people. I'm sorry about that, but I'm here to give my views, and that's what my view is, Just got Cross Junkie, Raya, White, Kivior, Calafiori, Skelly, Odegaard, Rice, Partey, Martinelli, Havertz, and Saka. Yeah, so Havertz starting, that's about the only debatable one now. What do people think of that? I don't think Havertz should start. There's no way I want him to, last game of the season, and I want us to win, but I don't want him to break down now, not after he's done all this, worked his way back like this. I'd rather have Marino start up front and bring Havertz on. Bring Havertz on if we need him for the last 20 minutes, half an hour even, Arteta does like a substitution after 60 minutes, doesn't he? So that's about it for me on the Arsenal. I think we're going to win easy. I've got us down for a 4-0 win, and I honestly hope it's more. But I hope the last game of the season is a great day out, as it should be, with some friends that you don't see again for a few weeks until the new season starts. And give Havertz a half either way. Yeah, I can see that, Cross. I'd be more tending towards 30 minutes, to be honest. But like I always say, I trust Arteta. I do trust Arteta. I think that I'm excited about leaving the game behind for a second, leaving this Sunday's game behind for a second. I'm excited about what might happen in this summer, because we all know we've had a disappointing last summer and a nothing January, and we really do need to sign some players to strengthen our squad this summer. And I think the new bloke coming in, whose name I can never remember, I never even heard of him, but I've done a bit of looking into him, and he's a kind of man that gets his players, and gets his way. I just hope that it doesn't end up being some kind of rift between this chap and Arteta, because if they work in harmony, I'm sure it's much better for our great club. It really is. So, a 4-0 win for the Arsenal, last game of the season. Then we go into the summer. Recapping, I hope UEFA do something about these Champions League teams dropping into the Europa League. I really think they should drop into the Europa League and make that a harder competition to win, because obviously I've covered it at the start of the show, but after these people watching weren't watching at the start, the quality of the football for the semi-finals and finals of the Europa League was, I've been told, horrendous. And I've been told by many people it was horrendous. And I'm going to be paying top money next season to watch Champions League, and I could be watching relegation fodder. You know what I mean? And it's not fair on me to pay all that extra money to watch my team in Europe and find that I'm watching a team that's not very good, you know. So what I'm going to do now is, right, I'm going to press the button like we normally Ferg presses the button. I've managed to find it, which has surprised me. All sorts goes on around this screen, right? There's all sorts going on. But I think I've managed to find the music that we always play towards the end of the show. So I'm going to press the button now, and I'll be back in a minute. Up the Arsenal. Wonderful. Wonderful. It just gets me every time. I know some people don't like it. I love it. You know what I mean? It gets me. Yeah, it's relevant. I grew up in North London. Well, actually, as people know, I was born in Tottenham. You know what I mean? So I always say North London for very, very obvious reasons. But I relate to all of that. And I relate to a lot of Louis Dunford's songs about growing up as a youngster in London. And really, wherever you grew up, there's bits you can take and relate to, and that's why I think he's so relevant, and I like listening to him so much. So I'm just gonna recap here. You know what I mean? Arsenal to win by plenty. Close season. Let's have a massive transfer window. Let's get 3, 4, 5, 6 players in, and let's go into next season with every confidence that we're going to go one better. Second ain't bad. You got to remember, you know, when these other teams are singing second again, most of them, nearly all of them, would give their right arm for their football team to finish second in the Premier League. Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur, who played in the Europa League final this week, would give their right arms to have been challenging for the league all season like we have. They really would. So let them have their fun. It's fun that we could never have had because we weren't bad enough to be in that competition. We could never have had that fun. So, you know, laugh it off, you know. So there's, oh my God, 400 people watching live now, right? 400 people. I am truly, truly humbled. I'd really appreciate your comments on how I've done and what I'm doing, because I think there's going to be a few more times when I'm on here on my own, and I am open to criticism. I am open to ideas. Actually, I'm very open to ideas. If there's anything you want me to discuss, drop me a message on X, on Twitter, or comment, or drop Guns and Yellow Ribbons a message, because I really appreciate you all watching, and I want to make sure I don't bore you all, yeah? So, once again, thank you very much. I've managed to make it last, right, nearly 50 minutes, which for me is about right. I think 50 minutes to an hour, you know, I'm happy with that. So, please have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for watching, you 400 people. Enjoy the big win by the Arsenal that's coming up on Sunday. Enjoy the off-season, rest, and let's be ready to go again next season. Let's be ready to support the club that lives in most of our hearts. Certainly lives in my heart, you know. There's never hardly a night goes by when I don't wake up dreaming about something the Arsenal could do or will do or have done. I'm that sad, but I'm old, you know, so there's a lot in there. So, listen, have a great weekend. Thank you very much from me. Good night. God bless. And we're back on Monday to look back at the weekend's action. Take care. Thank you. Good night.
Thanks for listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Follow us on Facebook at Guns and Yellow Ribbons or Twitter at Guns and Ribbons. And remember to rate and review us too. Up the Arsenal.